You got any words for advice? He's like, I mean, just don't choke. And I was like, okay, good to know.
Welcome back to Show Your Work with Angie Caraway. My name is Matt Hogan. I am your host. And of course, I am here with my sister, Angie Caraway. Angie, say hi.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, let's jump into really why we're recording this week. And it's to recap our very first Texas Democratic Convention. So, first of all, congratulations. We survived.
Thank you. You too. Congratulations.
I don't know how we survived. What would you say the average hours of sleep we got in between the nights?
I would say around 3 hours, probably average.
That feels about right. Okay, so let me set the stage a little bit. So, Texas Democratic Convention, I believe it was reported as the largest gathering of Democrats in the nation this year. I drove down from Oklahoma. You guys came down from Collin County. So, let's kind of start with what our day one was like. Talk through your experience of that day.
Yeah, it was really nice. The check-in person that checked me in, he goes, I know you. You're actually my representative or running to be my representative. I was like, no way.
Okay.
So I got his name and, he's like, once it gets closer, I definitely want to, help and do some block walking. And I was like, absolutely. So I got his information and, it's just exciting to get in there and get settled in and got a nice swag bag. And then we just started to kind of prowl the venue to make sure that we knew where we were going. And it was a bit reminiscent because I don't know if I told you, but I was in that exact same building probably in 2017, I'm guessing. I was invited to go down for the National Social Studies Conference that was held in Corpus that year. So I'd actually been in that building before. And knew a little bit of the layout. I'd go down the halls and be like, oh, yeah, I do remember being here. So it's a massive venue with 2 floors and a little bit of a maze to try to figure out all the spaces that we needed to go in.
A lot of bottlenecks in there. But really, I think the big meat of day one was kind of like the happy hours. Like the Mothers Against Greg Abbott happy hour put on by Nancy Thompson was wildly impressive to me. I did not expect that.
She just boasted from the beginning that it was the party to go to. And so, of course, I just wanted to meet them because they've been supportive from the very beginning for my campaign and endorsed me pretty early on. And so I was excited to go. And man, she was right. Just incredible speakers and got to meet a ton of people that I have been seeing online, but never gotten a chance to meet in person. So that was pretty cool. It was a bit, what's the word? It was just pretty freaking cool to meet those people. So
it was. Yeah, I think as far as like the top of the ticket, the only ones missing were Talarico and Hinojosa. We had literally everyone else there, like Eckhart, Johnson, Goodwin. And then just tons of House candidates, State Board of Education candidates. It was a big get together. And I, honestly, I was there earlier in the day for that training with Britt. And I saw Nancy come in and start setting up. And I was like, oh, she's going to set something up here. It's going to be a nice little, indoor thing. No, we were outside in a big patio and it was full of people. And bless her, she allowed everyone who was running for something to speak, including you. That was technically your first speaking gig of the weekend.
Yeah, that's right. It was. I even kind of forgot about that. But yeah, no, it was definitely, Lieutenant Governor, Ag Commissioner, Railroad Commissioner, Comptroller, like you said, all the way down. But, everything was really good. It was a little bit hot because it was outside. But other than that, the amount of people there.
Let's be real, Ange. It was hot. It was kind of gross.
When you have it in Corpus and you're there on the coast, it's going to be very humid to begin with.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it was definitely rather warm. We were there for a minute. Like we stuck around there for quite a bit. It was nice to start seeing all of the people that we would continue to see for the next few days. So if I remember correctly, we went from there and over to the Progressive Caucus Happy Hour. Is that right?
You went to the Progressive. Robert and I went ahead and went to the Texas Women's Caucus. It was just packed full of people, but it was really awesome to see that many people that were there and, ready to meet people and spread the word and, just celebrate being with each other. So that was really cool as well. I think that's when I actually met Sarah Eckhart because I didn't get a chance to meet her at
That's right. Yeah.
Mothers.
Yeah.
So I got a chance to meet her there and just, really cool, down to earth, super, super nice lady.
A super cool lady. My gosh.
Yeah.
Getting to see her in all the speaking cycles throughout the weekend, I was just became more and more impressed with her. Also, we had a little private reach out. She's helped us with some messaging as well. Yeah, the Progressive Caucus Happy Hour, it was very full, and just the vibes were right, man. Like the vibes were just like, hey, we're gonna do this, we're gonna be serious about it. And I wouldn't say it was a lot of patting on the back, it was really just like kind of smiles to your left and right, like we're gonna do this. It was a really
Yeah.
good like setup to get ready to go into day two. So I think this might be a good moment for us to breathe for a second. So we'll go and take a quick breather, and we will be right back. Okay, picking up where we left off, I actually forgot to mention that there was one other event that we went to that first night, and that was the Drag Out the Vote happy hour put on by the Stonewall Caucus. And that was just a massive drag show put on in a hotel there. They like built their own catwalk. It was a great, great setup. But Ange, if you don't mind, I'm gonna need to like take a moment to like fangirl out.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So we were standing in line, just kind of waiting to, I think, get a drink, and Aaron had mentioned that, hey, I think that's Gloria Campos over there. So quick for those who don't know, Gloria Campos was an anchor for Channel 8 News in Dallas as I was growing up. I got really into journalism in high school, and Channel 8 to me was just like the bar of what local news should be. Insofar that when I went to school in Oklahoma and started watching news up here, I was like, this is not the same. This is very different production qualities. But Channel 8 was just the bar. All those journalists from John McKay and Gloria Campos and Dale Hansen and Troy Dungan on the weather, they were such a part of me growing up, and they really kind of set the standard for what I could expect from journalists. So I just walked over, and my God, was she just the nicest woman in the world. She immediately like said hi, just complimentary about, what was going on, and just, I don't know, just a lovely interaction. And I think you came over with me and introduced you to her, and she was supportive of you. We got pictures with her. That was fantastic for me. Like we could have just wrapped it and gone home at that point. I was like, I met Gloria Campos. This could be over. Yeah, I thought that was super neat.
Yeah, no, that was really cool. I love how you don't even remember that I was there. Yeah, no, you just zoned out everybody else. You were just all about Gloria.
Yeah, I went to go talk to her, and I was like, oh man, I should probably go get the candidate. But yeah, we ran into her again the next day, and I went and gave her a campaign button. So she is technically a supporter. We might need to reach out to get that on the record.
I had a moment when I was there because it was so big, and, having family members that are LGBTQ, it just makes me proud, makes me happy that there's this many people in a room that support. And, I think my kid is in a safe world because of that. So it was really touching for me to be there.
Yeah, it's neat. I was having a few flashbacks of like going to drag shows 20 years ago, and basically they're in tiny closets in dingy bars, and here was this like full production in a massive hotel with a very mixed crowd. Not what was expected. That was kind of neat. I don't know if I would have expected this 20 years ago. It was cool just to like to see the culture just being itself without any kind of concern of, are we allowed to take up the space sort of thing. Like the space was taken and it was fine. Yeah, that was really neat. So let's jump
Absolutely.
into the caucuses, because this was the day. This was the run from place to place to place to place. So what was your experience with day two and the caucuses?
So, yeah, I think it was just that. It was hurry up, get to as many of them as you possibly can to get a chance to speak. So it was rush, 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 get to the room, get in line. Hopefully you can speak. You can say something in, 30 seconds to a minute that's gonna make that audience feel seen and heard and make you memorable. So, trying to tailor things to that audience was the goal, and to try to get into as many of them as there possibly was. These are delegates who've, probably spent their money instead of going on vacation to come here because democracy is important to them. So it was important to bring your A game. So it was a lot of running around the building, standing in line, getting to talk, and then running on to the next one, So
Yeah.
that's really what the entire day was like.
Yeah, it was a gauntlet, to be sure, like an absolute gauntlet. I'd see someone walk in, I'm like, Tallarico's behind you. I'm go stand over here so you can talk to him. Or Vicky Goodwin's walking in. I want you to stand right there so you can talk to her for a moment. Or, oh, I think you're going to be able to speak out. Go stand right there because I think that's where the line's going to be. There was just so much of like people moving and navigating because it was just tons and tons of people. And my role was essentially just to try to get you in front of as many people as possible. So my head was just spinning nonstop. I don't think I've ever been on such like an opportunity hunt before. before of like, okay, you're talking here. So as soon as I'd get you in line somewhere, I'd immediately try to scope out where I could get you in line next or who we can talk to next. And it felt weird because it felt really opportunistic, but like ultimately, once you get in those rooms and you feel that vibe, like it was kind of cool. Do you remember the Progressive Caucus and Kendall Scudder came in and fired up that crowd at like 8 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
gave a go out and like win every game for the Gipper kind of speech that
Yeah.
everyone woke up to. It was fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, he's an amazing speaker, and he really knows how to get the crowd going. Can we talk too about being in the caucus with my girl, Mahela Plisa, that was literally my hype woman when I got a chance to speak. She's in the audience, going, "Yeah, Jay," that was really cool too.
That was in the
Yeah.
Labor Caucus, wasn't it?
Labor caucus, yeah, the
Yeah,
Labor
yeah,
and
yeah.
Union
No,
caucus,
so
yeah.
I missed that piece because I was scoping out something else, I think. I came back in later, but yeah, that room was, gosh, that was a very, very packed room. Man, it was nice to see
Yeah, it
so many
was.
like labor supporters in there.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. And then next was off to lunch. I got invited to one of the lunches with JB Pritzker that spoke, and he was the one that reached out to those Democrats who broke quorum last summer over the redistricting maps. He was the first one to call them and say, "What do you need? I'm here to help you." And just listening to his story, I didn't realize that those, delegates not only broke quorum, but their lives were in danger too. They were getting bomb threats, and JB Pritzker sent his personal detail to make sure that they were safe, and just what an ordeal that was. And he just seems like the nicest, kindest man. People spoke very, very highly of him. And I enjoyed listening to him. That was a pretty cool experience. So,
Yeah, that was really neat. What do you think your highlight of all the caucuses, all the rooms that we got into? What was your highlight of day two?
highlight of day two was actually my own people. It was a really cool experience to be around friendly faces that I could actually make a difference for. So that was pretty cool.
That was really cool. Well, I think this is another good spot to go ahead and take another break. So let's take a quick breather and we will be right back. Okay, so let's get into day three of the convention recap. So, if I can, I'm going to replay a clip from our very first episode last week where Angie said this.
That's one thing I have learned is always be prepared to speak whenever you get
Yeah.
there.
And that really, really, really like turned out to be very true. And you have to be prepared because sometimes something really big happens. So, Ange, why don't you tell everybody what happened to us and you on day three of the convention?
Yeah, so we had finally had a chance to make it down to the influencer corners and do some interview with some influencers and stuff like that. And then we're getting text messages from other candidates that, hey, this one's getting a chance to get onto the big stage and speak. And it was like, oh gosh, maybe that'll be an opportunity for us too. So we literally at that point started rushing down to the main arena to see if we could get a chance to talk. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh yeah, no, we can get her on stage if she can get back here right now. And it was like, okay, well, where do we go? So at that point, we were literally almost running. And so I went down the hallway. They were like, go down here, talk to this security guard, and then turn left. And so I turned left and I didn't know where I was going. I come back and the security guy was like, yeah, no, it's right here. I was like, thanks, bro. You could have told me that before I went all the way around. Anyway, we got to the backstage and Christina Morales was back there, who is the HDCC chair, and Teddy, who is executive director for HDCC. And I was like, Teddy, you got any words for advice? He's like, I mean, just don't choke. And I was like, okay, good to know. Honestly, have you ever just like had moments in your life where you just kind of stop and you're like, what is actually happening right now? Like, what is my life right now? That's kind of how I felt because I was about to step on stage in front of thousands of people. And so from the time that we thought it was a possibility to the time that I actually gave the speech was maybe 5 minutes, which was definitely a blessing because I didn't have time to do my typical overanalyzing, worrying about what I was going to say. It was go time.
So that's exactly what happened. And I want to be clear. I want to make sure we're not burying the lead here. Angie got to speak on the main stage of the Texas Democratic Convention. And from the moment that she figured out that it was a possibility to getting on stage, it was absolutely insanity. My thought was, okay, if these other candidates can get there, then we've got to get you on stage. We just didn't know how. Like, you can't just like walk up to the stage and get up there, which, to be clear, you did. And that was nerve wracking. So my thought was to go to the chair of the Collin County Democratic Party because I knew where he was, Jeremy Sitka. So I ran over to CD3 section and said, Jeremy, even before I could ask him, he's like, is she going to talk? And I'm like, how? I don't know. We need help. How do we get her back there? And he's like, okay, let me text Kendall. And I'm like, you can't text Kendall. Like, he's doing a billion. He's about to go up and talk. Like, Bernie Sanders is here. There's no time. And what do you know? Like, he texts him. Kendall responds in 10 seconds, 15 seconds, saying, yes, just get her back here. And at that point, I look down to the stage and you're walking to the stage on the floor. And I'm like, that's not how you get back there. We have to go the literal opposite direction. And there's cameras everywhere. So I want to just like dart and like sprint towards you. But instead, I'm doing like the fast professional walk so I can get you. And that's when you were talking to that police officer. So we start running back the other way and get you back to the hallway. And I was thinking for half a second, oh God, should I go with her? Because at that moment I was thinking, we haven't talked about what you're going to say. We like for a couple hundred in a room, maybe, yeah, but not for a massive stage that's going to be, you know, like recorded for a national audience. And I was just thinking, if I could give advice, like, don't try to be anybody else, just be you, just go be you. And you went down the hallway, and I decided to head out back up to the floor so I could just record you. And I mean, really, just I wanted to see my sister on stage. So I went back out there, and I have to tell you, Ange, like, you nailed it. Like, you nailed it. You walked out and you were comfortable. You were on stage in front of thousands of people. How did it feel for you coming off of the stage after that insanity?
That's honestly when the nerves hit bottom when I got off. Being on stage, it was very nerve-wracking, but another small blessing was I could not see anybody because of the lights. So you couldn't really see the audience. You could just kind of hear, you know, them reacting to you. And then when I got off stage is when the adrenaline really, like you said, just kind of a dump. And I thought I was going to throw up as soon as I got off stage, and just kept walking. And I felt so heavy. All my joints, my bones, my feet, my leg, everything just felt heavy. I was like, I just need a Diet Coke and I need to sit down. So I did. I stopped at the concession stand, got a Diet Dr. Pepper, and made it up to the stands to where you guys were. Yeah.
Yeah, that I get it. And you were one of the last to get to speak. Like, maybe one or two
Yeah.
more people came behind you, and then it was get ready for Bernie Sanders. Like,
Bernie. Yeah.
that was wild. Yeah, so Bernie Sanders was the keynote speaker. What did you take away from Bernie's speech to all the Democrats in Texas?
You know, I love Bernie. Bernie is a whole vibe. He always sticks up for, you know, working class people and will die fighting for working class people. So, you know, it's great to see him live. I've never been in the same room with Bernie, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it was neat. So after you got to speak, Bernie came on, and then afterwards was the party business of getting everybody elected within the party.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Kendall Scudder, for winning re-election chair of the Texas Democratic Party. And then it was a wrap on a 3-day just extravaganza of just networking and politicking. How did you feel when we were
Yeah.
finally done?
Felt happy that we survived it. It was definitely a cool experience. It's one I'll never forget. And we're ready to get to work. I mean, it just energizes you to get back to work, you know, to make a difference, to talk to your, you know, your neighbors, your friends, your opponents, anyone ready to get to work and start making a difference.
Yeah, it really was a fantastic networking event. And just, you know, my experience on the comms end, the amount of people that I got to interact with for just little tidbits on how to do this, on how to do that, it was really, really neat. There's something that you and I kind of talked about going in. So when we were younger, our grandparents would take us down to the valley and down to South Padre Island a lot. And there's just a lot of memories. I mean, you went a lot more than me because you're so much older than me. Sorry,
Wiser.
little, yeah, throwing some shade there. But when we were in Corpus, kind of looking out onto the beach and looking out onto the shore, I was just getting vibes of South Padre. It was that similar sort of like gravel parking, walking through some like sticky grass, and then you get to the beach. Like, it's not the, you know, the most pristine waters, but still just it felt very familiar to me. It felt very kind of home at some point, where I just thought about our grandfather, who we call Gappa, who passed about 6 years ago now. Um, what he would think about what we were doing. What do you think Gappa would think about what we were doing down in Texas?
I think he would have been right there with us. I think, you know, he was such a special man in my life, and I always tried to make him proud. And like, he would have been beaming, knowing that I was running for Texas House. I mean, he would have been at everything. He would have been wearing a hat and a shirt and out there block walking with me, and whatever he could have possibly done, I know he would have been with us every step of the way. Yeah.
Yeah, our grandfather, Aladin Rios, who a lot of people knew him by Al, was a longtime Collin County Democrat. Man, if he could have seen us down there, like down on the coast, doing this work, I'd give anything if he could have been there with us.
Yeah. He's there with us.
It'd-
He sees it. I know
yeah.
he's there, rooting us on every step of the way, going, I'm so proud
I
of you.
hope.
I'm so proud
Yeah.
of you. Yeah.
He's probably yelling a lot too. He's probably just doing a lot of yelling. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And he definitely would have had some opinions. Yeah, you need to do this. Okay, Gaba.
Oh my
Okay.
God. Every time we got you in front of a camera, he'd be right there. No, say this instead. No, say this instead. For sure. He'd probably be the worst handler. Okay. Why don't we take this opportunity to talk about what you've got going on this week? What's coming up on your docket for the rest of the week here in Collin County?
So we've got some Chamber of Commerce events we're going to attend this week. We've got a fundraiser we're going to attend this week. We've got another lit drop, another block walk, both days next weekend. So we've got all sorts of things. I'm doing a precinct chair party, trying to celebrate my precinct chairs that are invaluable to this campaign for me. So we've got all sorts of things.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I want to go ahead and take this moment to plug a big event that we have coming up next week, though. On July 16th in Plano at the Harrington Library, we will be hosting a community discussion on public education. This is our first kind of like big forum that we're having. We've got Herb Krasner with Save Our Public Schools Texas coming to put on a presentation about how we can talk about what's going on in our public schools right now in Texas and what we can do to preserve them and basically get in front of the attacks on them. But as panelists, including in the discussion, we've got Evan Hutt, who's a candidate for Congressional District 3. We've got you, of course, who's running for Texas State House HCA 9. And then we have Jordan Wheatley, who is also a candidate for House District 67, who's also a teacher. And then we've got a member of the Vicki Goodwin campaign who'll be moderating for us, or Georgiana Bustos. So everyone, put it on your calendars right now. Thursday, July 16th. Doors open at 6:15. This is a free event at the Harrington Library in Plano. It'll be in room 134A. Check our socials. We'll be sharing a lot more details on that. It'll be a really good discussion. Ange, what are you looking forward to in particular about the discussion on public education?
Just having an honest discussion about what's going on with public education.
I think that will do it for this week. Thanks for giving us time for this week's episode of Show Your Work with Angie Caraway. We are going to do our best to try to drop these weekly. We may run a little behind. This is a volunteer-run campaign, but we want to make sure we're getting out there as frequently as we can. Be sure to follow us on all your socials. You can find these podcasts on all the major platforms, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. You can even find us on YouTube for the video version of the podcast. Thank you all very much. We hope to see you soon. Ange, thanks. I'll see you in a bit. Bye.
Bye.